Gene editing, the future of saving endangered species. The world is facing an unprecedented environmental crisis, and our planet's biodiversity is at stake. In the midst of this, a team of dedicated scientists has proposed a bold and innovative solution: gene editing. This technology, which has already revolutionized agriculture and even brought back extinct species, could be the key to saving endangered species and restoring their genetic diversity. But here's where it gets controversial. The scientists argue that gene editing can help reintroduce lost genetic variation, facilitate adaptation to rapid environmental changes, and even reduce harmful mutations. By using historical DNA samples and borrowing genes from related species, they believe we can give threatened species a fighting chance. For example, the pink pigeon, once on the brink of extinction, has seen its population rebound thanks to captive breeding. However, without intervention, this species is still at risk of extinction due to genomic erosion. Gene editing could be the answer to restoring its genetic diversity and ensuring its long-term survival. Dr. Beth Shapiro, Chief Science Officer at Colossal Biosciences, emphasizes the responsibility we have to reduce the extinction risk for thousands of species. She believes that the same technology used to introduce mammoth genes into elephants can be a powerful tool for conservation. The scientists outline 3 key applications of gene editing in conservation: restoring lost variation, facilitating adaptation, and reducing harmful mutations. They also acknowledge the risks and emphasize the need for rigorous testing and monitoring, as well as community engagement. Associate Professor Hernan Morales of the Globe Institute warns that genome editing should not be seen as a magical fix but rather as a carefully evaluated tool alongside traditional conservation strategies. It is a complex and controversial topic, but one that demands our attention and discussion. So, what do you think? Is gene editing a transformative solution or a risky endeavor? Let's spark a conversation and explore the potential and pitfalls of this innovative approach to conservation. Genetic engineering debate: saving endangered species or risking ecosystems? Imagine a world where genetic engineering could be the key to saving endangered species, but at what cost? The debate is heating up ahead of a major international conservation gathering in the UAE later this year. The use of genetic engineering to rescue species on the brink of extinction has sparked intense discussion, with some warning of unforeseeable impacts if wild species are genetically modified. A motion set to be presented at the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi in October calls for a moratorium on genetic engineering, citing the potential for genetically modified organisms, GMOs, to significantly damage ecosystems and spread uncontrollably across borders. But here's where it gets controversial. Proponents of genetic engineering argue that it could be a game changer in conservation, allowing scientists to recreate lost species and develop innovative solutions to pressing environmental problems. The motion, supported by organizations such as the Canadian Biotechnology Action Network and the Stop Gene Drive campaign, claims that genetic engineering of wild species in natural ecosystems undermines established conservation strategies and traditional knowledge of indigenous people and local communities. However, a group of scientists and organizations has hit back at the moratorium proposal, warning that it would stifle research and compromise potential breakthroughs in conservation. They argue that genetic engineering could address challenges that have proven difficult or impossible to solve using traditional means, such as combating coral reef bleaching or developing disease-resistant organisms. And this is the part most people miss: the potential benefits of genetic engineering in conservation are not just theoretical. For example, scientists have already used genetic engineering to develop bacteria that can combat coral reef bleaching, a major problem in the Gulf region. Other applications, such as modifying frogs to be resistant to deadly fungi or engineering rodents to control invasive alien species, could also be jeopardized by bans on genetic engineering. The debate has sparked a heated discussion, with some arguing that a moratorium on genetic engineering would send a discouraging message to the next generation of scientists working on conservation and health. As Dr. Alexander Lees, a reader in biodiversity at Manchester Metropolitan University, notes, the application of synthetic biology to biodiversity conservation remains a divisive paradigm for conservationists. While some applications, such as de-extinction, are widely viewed with skepticism, others, like species-specific biological control for invasive species, offer real hope for tackling intractable problems. But what do you think? Should genetic engineering be used to save endangered species, or do the risks outweigh the potential benefits? The IUCN World Conservation Congress, which will take place in the UAE capital from October 9th to 15th, will provide a platform for member organizations to make decisions that influence global policy and set the conservation agenda for years to come. The UAE has strong links to the IUCN, with the organization's president, Raisin Al Mubarak, also serving as managing director of the Environment Agency, Abu Dhabi, and the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund. As the debate rages on, one thing is clear: the use of genetic engineering in conservation is a complex and contentious issue that requires careful consideration and nuanced discussion. So, we ask you, what's your take on this issue? Do you think genetic engineering has a place in conservation, or should we be cautious of its potential risks? Share your thoughts in the comments below.